All right. I don't know what video number this is, but we're doing the thing. So yeah, I appreciate you being here. If you don't know who I am, my name's Sean Fletcher, and the reason why I am making these videos is I am documenting sort of creating my lifestyle business or freedom business, if you will. And so basically what that means is I'm 39 years old. I've had some really interesting experience where I used to work offshore on tugboats for like 10 years, uh, early 20s. And then I basically, after like 15 years of just doing all kinds of stuff, I was able to sort of transition, change careers completely, and land a position as a marketing manager at a multi-million dollar sports brand. And doing all of that without any like college degree or even finishing high school. And so you can imagine all of the limiting beliefs that I went through and just all of the hurdles that I've overcome to get to where I'm at now. And so I'm basically taking all of that information and all that experience and creating a business in real time. And so this is me documenting my business. And it starts with creating content and talking about, things that have gotten me where I am at today and have gotten me through, the hard times, right? And I'm still learning, I'm still going through things. And so part of my, I guess, lifestyle business or freedom business, whatever you want to call it, is this allows me to essentially have sort of time freedom. I can essentially work on it anytime I want, location freedom, and so I can be anywhere in the world and do this. And then freedom of creative expression. I essentially have chosen the things that I want to focus on and work on. And so this type of business allows me to do that. And so and I like this is going to be a really cool video because I've been sort of subconsciously living by this and just most recently consciously living by this. And what that is living by design, not default. And so the main sort of problem that I'm seeing and sort of the issues that I've had, growing up was that I was always living sort of by default. I was always reactive to what the world was giving me. I was just waiting for the world to sort of, give me the thing that I thought was supposed to be necessary, and I was just sort of reactive to it, right? I didn't do anything to sort of design my life. And most people are living their life by default and just moving through life just kind of on autopilot. Most people every day is reactive and life is happening to them. What I also have experienced is that I am sort of part of this like mentality where I'm like trapped on my circumstances, right? And I'm just letting the things happen to me, not actually moving forward and seeing what I can do to actually take charge of my day or my life, living by design, not default, right? Here's sort of the main thing that I didn't realize. Living by design isn't about having the perfect circumstance or just being fully free with everything, right? I understand everybody has responsibilities and they have obligations, but it's about making one conscious choice within your certain circumstance, right? And so it really is taking charge of what it is that you're trying to do and just doing it. And then so in one of the last videos that I had was talking about your word is law. And so this is really hand in hand. So once you actually start really trusting yourself and taking your word as law, this is actually much easier to implement because your word is law. That's one of the harder parts of this. But once you start trusting yourself, then living by design sort of comes naturally. So if you're finding yourself in a situation where you're thinking, wow, like I want to live by design my life, but it seems difficult, go back to the other video and understand that it really to do anything and really move the needle here is taking your word as law, trusting yourself. Start small, and then move forward. And as you, it's like a muscle, so to speak, right? You could do something small, like I'm gonna wake up just like 5 minutes early, or I'm gonna wake up 30 minutes earlier, and then do it, and then move forward, right? So then you're starting to live by design. So for me, when I was on tugboats, especially when I first started, I didn't know any of this, and I was sort of unconsciously, unknowingly living by default. I would just go to work, and then I was just sort of surrounded by these people that were just doing certain things. Or not doing certain things, right? They weren't really educating themselves. They weren't like trying to get better. You know what I mean? And I've mentioned it before on this channel, but like those guys were just miserable, and I didn't want to grow up. I was a young guy at the time, and I was working around guys that were older than me, and they have made it in that career, but they were still miserable. And it wasn't until I really kind of sat back and sort of like tried to understand what was going on. And I mentioned it before, but that was when, I think it was back in 2015, when I saw the Ty Lopez video here in my garage, and he talked about books, and that was really what sort of changed my trajectory there. It's like, if you want something nice, it wasn't about having a Lamborghini. It was more of a metaphor for me. It was like, if you want the life that you want, or like the desired reality that you want, you have to think different. You have to become someone else. Like, this person that you are now isn't going to be able to get the things that you want in the future, or like in the near future, right? And so that's what I had to understand. So then I started living by design by reading the books that was recommended by Ty, and I just started changing my paradigm, and my life started to change. And then, I bounced around, for years with different tugboat jobs, and then I would leave the tugboat career and I would go and do something different, or I would try something different. You name it, I probably have done it before. And this last company that I worked for, this was about 5 years ago. So not too long ago, I've been able to really transition into where I'm at now. But I lived by design on that last company. So we would work 12-hour shifts. So 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Now, when I say on and off, we're still on the boat. What I mean by that is that I'm like off watch. There's another guy that sort of takes my spot, or is awake, or is like, it's his turn kind of thing. And so we'd get 12 hours each. And so I don't need 12 hours to sleep. So then I would sort of make sure that I'd get 7, 8 hours. And then by living by design, I would wake up early. I'd find me a spot that I could put my phone in the corner in a window, turn on the hotspot, get the internet, sort of, and then either study marketing, or I think at the time I was actually studying like software engineering, like coding, but then it transitioned into marketing. But that was me living by design, not just like letting my life just live the tugboat life, because I knew that's not what I wanted. And so now I'm living by design. I have a job. I'm still a marketing manager, if you will. I'm working at an agency right now, and here I am. I am still taking the time to live by design, not default. I'm doing my work, but I'm also doing my business at the same time. And so I think that's an important element, is that take charge of your life. And one thing I really like to think about, I started calling it sort of mind controlling activities. And right now I'm working on 2. Right now I'm running. So I run every day, and I'm not really I haven't ran. I used to run when I was a kid, but we used to, run outside and stuff like that, but haven't really been known to just like, I'm a runner. But now I'm a runner. I've been crushing it. And the whole time you're running, you're battling with yourself. And so it goes back to your word is law, and then designing my life. I'm becoming a runner. I'm active, and it's just part of my new identity, Sean 2.0, right? Another one is meditation. Meditation is a really good, powerful way to sort of control your mind in a way where you have control over it. So, right now I'm just introducing like 5 minutes in the mornings. And so I would just like sit here and just meditate. And if, your brain's going to think thoughts, that's what it does. But the important part is that you control it and bring it back to your breath, right? And it's just a back and forth of like, okay, cool, you were thinking thoughts, now bring it back. Okay, cool, you were thinking thoughts, now bring it back. And it's really just, and then before you know it, after 10, 20, 30, an hour long, if you want, you're going to really be dialed in to where, as soon as like a thought comes in, it just boom, you bring it back, and you're just really disciplined. There's other ones like, I imagine like taking a cold shower is sort of mind over matter kind of thing. And so I haven't done that one yet, but that, among its like other sort of benefits, maybe there's some that I don't really know, but definitely sort of this like mind control type activities I'm really enjoying. And again, to just kind of tie a bow on everything, living by design isn't having the perfect circumstance. It's not living this perfect freedom. You take what life has given you, you play the cards, but then at the same time, you take control over that and you decide what is it that you're wanting to do, design it, and then go out and do it. So design the life that you want, and then word is law, and then start moving forward. Before you know it, it's going to start taking over. And you know how like you always hear like when you are, let's say you're, looking into a certain car, and then you start seeing like you're just like wanting to buy it, for example. You start seeing that car all the time. It's the same thing. You start thinking these types of thoughts. You start sort of living by design. You create your design. You sort of have this like sort of framework or this archetype of your life that you want, and then coupled with your word is law. Man, that is just a powerhouse concoction of like you becoming who you want to be. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I'm doing here every single day, day in and day out, just living by design. And, that's essentially, why I'm doing all of this, right? So I have a free community called Unconventional Path, and that's basically what I'm doing. I'm showcasing myself. I'm documenting myself living by design. I got a very small amount of people in there. Would love to have you join. Come in, introduce yourself, and start living by design. I'm going to cut it off there. Appreciate you watching. Later.